Hey everyone, so I've had a few questions on Instagram on how I do my glitter gradients, so I figured I'd try and do a quick video to try and explain exactly how I do mine. So for this particular one I'm going to use the same colours as I used on my last one I've just put up on Instagram, which is a base of Kleancolor Disco Purple, then followed by Alana Renee, Witchling, Femme Fatale, Wolfsbane, and Femme Fatale Wigan and Embers. So what I've done is I've just applied a quick coat of the Kleancolor and let that dry. Once that's done, I'm just going to take my Alana Renee polish, which is a really pretty purple glitter with red larger hex syrup. Get a nice amount of that on the brush and literally just paint that over the entire nail. And then let that dry. Once that's dry, we can move on to the next polish. Okay, now once that is dry, grab your next colour, which is Wolfsbane. And give that a bit of a quick shake to try and get some of the shapes to float a little bit. Now, basically, I just paint it on the same way as you would regular polish, but I just don't go right to the very tip, right to the very cuticle. So get a fair amount on the brush, and I like to start down a little bit lower, dump all the glitter on there, and then start pushing and pulling and maneuvering it around until I kind of get it where I want. I find with doing glitter gradients like this, it's best if you try and pick polishes which have similar glitters in them, so they kind of blend a bit better, like Witchling purple base with red glitters. Wolfsbane is a bit more of a blue base with blue glitters, shades of blue glitters, but it's also got a red glitter through it, so it fits in with the purple glitter of the Alana Renee really quite well. So once again, put that on, wait till it dries, and then we shall move on to our next coat. Okay, now that that layer is dry, we can move on to our last colour, which is going to be this one here. But before we do, probably the biggest tip I can give you with doing glitter gradients this particular way is use polishes with more of a jelly consistency, especially with the glitters. So what I mean by jelly is that the bases are very tinted, but they still aren't completely opaque. So glitters like this are really good if you do about 2 or 3 coats for them, because you really get that depth because you can see through the base. Find using jelly based glitters makes this a lot easier, because then you get that incredible depth to the polish and you can see through it to the underlying layers. But the thing that makes it a bit harder using jelly based polishes is it's really easy to get them looking really thick and bulgy, and they might not look completely flat because there is a lot of base when you're trying to put down the glitter and place it into where you want it. So probably another tip that I do is I do this regardless whenever I put any type of jelly based glitter polish on, is that when it's dry enough to touch but not completely dry, I actually go through and press it down and smooth it down and make sure there's no lumps and bumps, so you can get a really nice flat surface without sort of disrupting everything too much. Now this looks a little bit dull because I've put some top coat on it to try and dry it a bit faster. But it just allows you to press everything down nicely so you get it nice and flat. And then if the tips of your nails are looking a bit bulgy, you can sort of just shape them by pressing on them to get that definition back to the shape. It just makes everything a lot easier. So last one, Wigan and Embers. Fill that one up. Now This one I'm just going to apply to about this much tip. So the first one we did the whole lot, Alana Renee. Then Wolfsbane I've done from about here down. I did go back in and apply a little bit of a second coat, just placing a few more sort of single glitters sort of a bit further up. Grabbed a couple of moons out and managed to put them on there as well. The last one, same deal. Brush with twirl. I find doing that makes it a bit easier to get some of the shapes out onto the brush, rather than like having to try and fish too much for them or use a toothpick to pull them out. I find just doing that allows them to come out a lot easier on their own. So I also try and drain off some of the base from the brush as well, so I'm left with mainly just the glitter. And then same deal, get that on the end. Flip it around, make it a bit easier for myself here. Get a fair bit of the base off and just start brushing it on. Like when you start playing with ones which have got slightly different coloured bases, like this one has a very strong red base to it, do kind of want to, when you get a fair amount of the glitter off the brush and it's just the dregs left, I like to just sort of swipe it really lightly so you just get a little bit of the red base coming up, and it's not quite so thick, it's not quite so strong, so it makes the gradient of the different coloured bases a lot more even and makes the transition a lot nicer as well. We shall just make two. I don't want too much bar glitter though. Alright, shift a bit one over. The really coppery glitters up so it's melding in more with the red one from Wolfsbane. Down. Spread that red base out a little bit. This goes the most stunning colour of purple over the blue base of Wolfsbane. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, and then we'll let that dry, and then we can top coat. Okay, so once that was dry, I put a quick coat of Essence Gelic on. I like to put this on fairly thick because it does actually dry down quite a lot. But you just want a thicker clear top coat so it fills into all the ridges and all the waviness of all the glitter that it leaves behind. So pops that on. Now put our very last layer of top coat. It's going to be, in this case, Poshe Quick Dry. Put a fair amount of that on there. You can always brush the excess off. Get that on. Always make sure you cap the tip when you do glitter gradients, because I sometimes find that if you do use a quick dry polish, especially if the bottom layers aren't completely dry, it can pull away quite significantly. So always make sure that you cap the tip. And now we are completely done. So I hope this has made things a lot clearer for some of you guys that were asking how to do it this way. Now this does look a bit thick because this is a folder swatch stick that I used previously for other things. But of course, if you let this dry down completely before each coat, the jelly glitters will become a lot flatter and it's not going to look quite so bulgy, but I've rushed this a bit to try and get this done. So yeah, I hope this has helped a lot. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, so @FattyLacquer. Also check out my blog if you'd like to see some of the things. Just lookwhatthebatsdraggedin.com. Alright, thanks guys. I hope this has helped. I shall catch you later. Bye.